My name's Ken Buetow. I work at Arizona State University. I am the Director of Computational Science and Informatics Program in the Complex Adaptive Systems Group and a professor in the School of Life Sciences. HPC and big data are the tools of our trade. For us, data is where we wake up in the morning and figure out what to do. So we literally routinely use data sets that are hundreds of terabytes in size and of great complexity. So an example would be is that we have 20,000 genes approximately of 1 million variants that we have to look at. So we generate literally billions, 20 billion computations that we have to perform and data that we have to manipulate. So HPC is, to be honest with you, the only way that we can ask and answer these questions. Well, part of what we're continue to be excited that we're integrators of many things. One of the sort of dimensions that's particularly interesting to us is the emerging GPU space. Part of the reason that's exciting to us is its ability to help support and bridge some of the other classes of computations that we're interested in doing. So I'll give an example. Part of what we're attempting to do is simulate the behavior of how different cells work together. The complexity of the number of interactions and components exceeds our ability to do this with traditional differential equation modeling and other components. So it becomes a computational problem. GPUs actually underpin many of the high performance simulation work that we actually quite commonly don't think of it as simulation, but if you picture anytime you get on and play World of Warcraft and you have an enemy that approaches you that's not another human being, that's it simulating particular collections of behavior with a variety of different inputs and parameters. So what we want to do is actually do this similar sort of thing with cancer and or other just normal immune functions, is to understand how all those pieces would work together and, much as in World of Warcraft, intervene to maybe wipe out the bad guys. How would we actually give the appropriate tools to the immune system or to something else that would allow it to actually prevail? So one of the challenges we face is how do we actually take different pieces that have purposely and appropriately been developed in isolation and then bring them back together into a whole. I'd actually say computing faces that same flavor of challenge. One of the challenges we face when we try to create the platform we're creating is we have people that think in terms of high performance computing or in terms of big data, or in terms of utility or transactional computing, who think in terms of databases or Hadoop, and they live in specific worlds, but the true solutions to complex problems comes from bringing those together and their emergent properties. The second piece that's related to that is cultural. So, at least in my field, biomedicine, it's exciting that there's beginning to be a recognition that data science should have a seat at the table and may be critical to us addressing vexing grand challenge problems, but getting that sort of recognition and support, I think, is also a real challenge. I think actually one of the ways to recruit people in is to actually excite them with the grand challenges that are available to them and let them then see that a powerful set of tools that they can do that actually allow them to get insights that they just literally couldn't get anywhere else would be with the use of computational tools. One of the things that we tend to do is try to make things too complicated, or then in reverse, because we think they're complicated, overly simplified. So I actually think one of the ways that we should and could be teaching young people and attracting to this is showing them what actually problems are being solved by HPC. You know, I think probably the average kid doesn't actually realize that when they get a 3-day to 5-day weather forecast, that's an HPC problem. That basically the fact that weather is predicted, that's actually computing in action that's making their life easier, better, and more interesting. So I think we just need to celebrate those successes and show people how HPC is actually changing their lives. It's not some esoteric thing that's done in ivy-covered walls or in secret government labs. It's actually embedded in your day-to-day life.